Means that do it. Burger
Welcome to the second hour of Air Checks. In this hour we will be playing the final 2 episodes as the finale of the tribute to Douglas Adams. Here's episode 5 of Dirk Gentley's Holistic Detective Agency as broadcasted on BBC 4 on October 31, 2007. Matters come to several heads, and the dead walk among us.
St Sed's College, Cambridge, the College of Coleridge, and the College of Sir Isaac Newton, renowned inventor of the milled-edged coin and the cat flap.
The what?
The cat flap, a device of the utmost cunning, perspicuity, and invention. A door within a door.
There was also the small matter of gravity.
There was that as well, I suppose, though that, of course, was merely a discovery. It was there to be discovered. Lend me a penny.
Huh. Yep.
Thank you. Watch this.
Hey!
See, they even keep gravity on at weekends. Someone was bound to notice sooner or later.
Dirk Gentley's Holistic Detective Agency by Douglas Adams.
Mr. Chally, nice to have you back, sir.
Bill, how good to see you.
Oh, last time I saw you, you were being led off. Anyway, that's all behind you now.
Indeed, Bill, I've repaid my debt to society. You find me thriving. And Mrs. Roberts, foot still troubling her?
Oh, no, sir, not since the amputation. Between you and me, sir, I'd have been as happy to have had her sawn off and keep the foot. Oh, incidentally, Mr. Macduff, sir, that horse you mentioned last night, I'm afraid we had to have it removed. It was bothering Professor Chronotis. RSPCA were going to sort something out since the owner's scarpered.
The horse had an owner?
Foreign gentleman, I think, Mr. Chally. Sort of a monk. A bit odd. Fred had to tell him to shoot off.
I've known Fred use more colourful expressions. To me, particularly.
Oh, he couldn't be gratuitous, sir. Not with a man of the cloth. Shoot off was the best Fred could muster.
Well, thank you, Bill. I hope it didn't disturb you.
Nothing ever disturbs me, sir. Unless it's wearing a dress. Can't abide it when the young gentlemen wear dresses, sir.
Ah, dragging the subject away from transvestism, as far as I know, you mentioned Professor Chronotis. Is he here at the moment?
I think so, sir. I can't check for you because his phone's out of order. Suggest you go and look for yourself. Far left corner, second court.
I know it well, Bill. Thank you. My best to what remains of Mrs. Roberts.
Most kind, sir.
This is DS Jilks of Cambridgeshire CID, Friday 26th of October, 5:48 p.m, commencing taped interview. Yes, Jilks. He's with me. Well, just recharge the extinguisher and send a junior PC to clear it up. No, son, there's been no revolution. Then take her portrait out of the bin. Commencing taped interview in pursuit of Gordon Way murder inquiries. Those present are here. Subject has waived legal representation and refuses to give a name.
Electric Monk Revision B.
You're an improvement.
You may have complete faith in a Revision B.
I can't tell you how relieved that makes me. Now, on the evening of Thursday, 25th of October, were you in the vicinity of Elmdon?
You may put me to the rack or tie me to a stake and pile burning logs at my feet. I would be deactivated sooner than deny it.
A simple yes will do.
A simple yes is not in my programming. To believe, to adopt, to worship, to have faith so purblind it would rather ride the parched pink deserts of Pleiades 5 on a pissed-off horse than entertain the infinitesimal flicker of a doubt. This is what it is to be an electric monk.
And to endure the ramblings of a half-wit in a hoodie hoping to cop an insanity plea. This is the lot of a 21st century copper. But back to the murder at hand. Did you or did you not on the evening in question conceal yourself in the boot of a silver Mercedes saloon and shoot Mr. Gordon Way?
It was my duty.
Are you extracting the waste liquid, sir?
I was given clear instructions and took my opportunity.
Instructions?
To shoot off.
Right. I suggest we backtrack a bit.
Detective Sergeant Jukes, the faith which moves mountains, or at least believes them against all available evidence to be pink, is a solid and abiding faith.
Seems to me that your faith is responsible for most of the problems we're currently dealing with. When we brought you to this police station, you stated that the chocolate machine in the lobby was a relic worthy of veneration because it rewarded its faithful worshippers with confectionery. But on closer inspection, you were disappointed to find that it required feeding with sacred tokens in order so to do.
Well, you don't have...
I haven't finished. The baptismal fire extinguisher was no less a disappointment. Ditto the holy water cooler, the waste basket of impure thoughts, and the miraculous icon of Her Gracious Majesty upon the wall, which failed to perform anything miraculous despite half an hour of you wailing at it.
It is not easy to find a subject worthy of adoration. You, however, you have promised me nothing except cold looks, rudeness and sarcasm, and have proved as good as your word. I have resolved to worship you and sacrifice myself upon the altar of your bountiful displeasure.
If only it were that easy.
Detective Sergeant Jukes, I love you. You are my saviour. I heart you. Clasp me to your bosom.
Tape paused at 5:56 p.m. to fetch subject a glass of water. Now listen to me, son. This old brother act might go down a storm in whatever bug-infested quack basket you've escaped from, but it doesn't stir my mug of Darjeeling.
Oh, I am cleansed in the fires of your disdain.
Recording resumed at 5:57 p.m. So, you shot Gordon Way.
At the time it seemed the correct thing to do, O Lord. I was quite clearly instructed to shoot off, and I felt strangely compelled to obey.
Right. Interview terminated at the end of my tether.
Is the confession over, O bucket of frankincense?
Oh, yes.
Then my sins are forgiven.
Come! Sit down, whoever you are, just making some tea.
That would be most kind. We are two.
Indian or China?
Indian, please.
Milk?
Please.
1 lump or 2?
1, please. And 2 sugars.
Oh, flagella, good heavens. Well, that was quick work, young Macduff. Well done. My dear fellow, how very excellent to see you. How good of you to come, my dear Slat.
Dirk Gentley is the name under which I now trade. There are certain events in my past from which I would wish to disassociate myself.
Oh, absolutely. I know how you feel. We live in interesting times. Actually dull times, but dull for interesting reasons. Most of the 14th century was pretty grim.
The 14th century?
Oh, sorry, I meant the 1980s.
Oh, of course. Big hair, padded shoulders. Not you at all.
Did I ask you if you wanted any tea?
Yes. We spoke about it at length. I think we agreed in the end that we would, didn't we?
Oh, excellent. My pleasure to... Yeah. Oh, by a happy chance, there seems to be some ready in the kitchen. Oh, you'll have to forgive me. I have a memory like what are those things you drain rice in?
Very interesting. I wondered if his memory might be poor. Is this where you found the note about the salt cellar?
Yes, tucked into this book.
A guide to the Greek islands. And this, with the abacus, is the table where you found the note?
Yes, it's still here. Look.
Regard this silver salt cellar. Regard this simple hat. Richard, I want you to talk me through the exact conjuring trick Reg performed at last night's Coleridge dinner.
Right. Reg and I were sitting at the high table. somebody further up had returned from holiday and brought their little daughter. She had found an ancient pot on a beach in Greece and brought it along. The Dons dismissed it as nothing very special. They weren't very kind. She lost interest after that, but the professor felt sorry for her. He left the room to fetch a hat, then came back ready to...
The professor, noticing she was bored, performed a trick.
Young lady, regard this simple salt cellar. Regard this simple hat.
He smashed the pot she brought and revealed a college salt cellar inside it, a trick that could not be possible.
Unless it was some sort of prior collaboration between Reg and the little girl. But I don't think it was.
Of course it wasn't. I would have thought that was perfectly clear.
But why would he write that little line down as if he needed to remember it? And is the book on Greek islands being here just coincidence?
Coincidence? Richard, have you learned nothing of the holistic interconnectedness of all things? Coincidence is the surest indication that nature has coned off the highway of logic and put you firmly into a trans-dimensional contraflow. I would like you to ask our friend how he performed the trick.
I thought you said you already knew.
I do. You saw him do the trick. You must ask him how he did it. Believe me, there is an astounding secret hidden within it. I know it.
Here we are.
Professor Chronotis.
Oh, Reg, please.
Very well, Reg.
Sieve.
I'll make up your mind.
The thing you drain rice in is sieve. I was trying to remember the word, though I forget now the reason why. But no matter. Dirk, dear fellow, you look as if you're about to explode. Why don't you sit down and make yourself comfortable?
I'll pace up and down fretfully, if I may. Richard?
Yes? Oh, yes. Reg, well, I'd be interested to know how you did that conjuring trick with the salt cellar last night.
The conjuring trick?
Yes, the conjuring trick.
Oh, well, the conjuring part of it, I'm not sure I should... Magic circle rules, you know, very strict about revealing secrets, very strict. Impressive trick, though, don't you think?
I was quite taken in.
Oh, you liked it?
It was very impressive, and I can see why it's impossible for you to tell me. I'm sorry I asked.
Richard!
Oh, but I don't understand how a salt cellar got embedded in the pot.
Oh, it didn't take any conjuring skill. I nipped out for my hat, you remember?
Yes.
Well, while I was out of the room, I found the man who made the pot. It took some time, of course, about 3 weeks of detective work to track him down, and several days to sober him up. And then, with difficulty, I persuaded him to bake the salt cellar into a pot for me. After that, I briefly stopped off somewhere to find some powder to disguise the suntan I'd acquired. Of course, I had to time the return carefully so as to make it all look natural.
What on earth are you talking about?
I thought you said you knew my secret.
I do. Richard, as yet, does not, though he furnished all the information I needed. Let me fill in a couple more blanks. In order to help disguise the fact that you'd been away for weeks when, as far as anyone was concerned, you'd only popped out of the door for a few seconds, you had to write down the last thing you said in order that you could pick up the conversation again as naturally as possible. A vital detail if your memory is no longer what it was, yes?
I've almost forgotten what it was, but yes.
Then, there's the little matter of the questions that George III asked. Asked you.
Ah.
Dirk, who told you that?
You did, under hypnosis. I have Miss Pierce's notes. You see, the King asked the Regius Professor of Chronology if there was, and I now quote, any chance of getting paid this month here. George III asked if there was any particular reason why one thing happened after another, and if there was any way of stopping it. Reg, did he not also ask you if it was possible to move backwards in time or something of that kind?
That is precisely what he said.
Which is why the answers were yes, no, and maybe, in that order.
You may have the correct answer, but I'll need to see your workings.
This is a moment of rare humility for me. My secretary suggested I ask a child, so I found one. I told him the story of the trick and asked him how he thought it had been done. And he said, and I quote, it's obvious in it, he must have had a bleeding time machine. I thanked the little fellow and gave him a shilling for his trouble. He kicked me rather sharply on the shin for mine. Not only did he provide the solution, he even saved me the bother of kicking myself. Reg, where is it?
Where is what?
The time machine.
Oh, that. We're standing in it.
It's about changing our phone account. Yes. No, my boss signed us up for this special offer from the electricity board to provide our phone services. Yes. And he's got the water board providing our gas, the gas board providing our electricity, and I want to sort it all out before somebody blows himself up trying to order a pizza. Hello? Don't stuffing believe it. Hello? Mr. Gentley, are you back from Cambridge? Is that you cutting me off? Mr. Gentley! Oh, has he left a cat in here?
It's me, Gordon Way. Or what's left of me.
Oh, the phone's off the
Don't
hook.
put it back in the cradle. Took me an hour to move that thing.
Puss.
Miss, I'm dead. You can't see me, but try, damn it. Hello?
Somebody out there?
Pay attention, you silly bit.
Hello? We're closed. Hello?
No, I mean here.
Closed, and so is the knocking shop on the top floor.
Stop it. I'll do this another way. Excuse me.
Oh, freezing draft up these stairs.
Professor Chronotis, who are you?
I have absolutely no idea. Much of my memory's gone completely. I'm very old, you see, startlingly old.
This room, the sofa, the table, how long has it all been...
Here? Oh, just about 200 years, ever since I retired.
You mean you've been in the same set of rooms here for 200 years? You'd think someone would notice.
Oh, that's one of the delights of the older Cambridge colleges. If we all went around mentioning what was odd about each other, we'd be here till Christmas. Dirk, my dear fellow, please don't touch that just at the moment.
What is it?
It's just what it looks like, an old wooden abacus.
How does it work?
Any way you want it to. Never really understood that bit, to be honest with you. But I simply plonk my abacus down there, and it understands the way I use it. Far easier to use than a video recorder. If I miss a program, I just pop back in time and watch it.
You have a time machine, and you use it for watching television?
Well, frankly, I wouldn't use it at all if I could get the hang of the video recorder. But plus, of course, it mucks up the telephone. I'm sorry, Richard, that you were unable to phone your young lady last night. Every time I use the time machine, the phone goes haywire, and I have to get some lout to come and fix it. Anyway, the point is that I have a very strict rule that I must not change anything in the past at all, whatever the temptation.
What temptation?
Oh, it's just a little thing I'm interested in. It's perfectly harmless because I stick very strictly to the rule.
But you broke your own rule. You changed something in the past.
Oh, but that was different. If you'd seen the look on the poor child's face, so miserable. She thought the world should be a marvellous place, but all those appalling old dons were pouring their withering scorn on her because it wasn't marvellous for them anymore. No, that was perfectly justifiable.
Reg, may I give you a little advice?
Oh, of course you may, my dear fellow. I should adore you to.
If our friend here offers to take you for a stroll along the banks of the River Cam, don't go.
What on earth do you mean?
He means that he thinks there may be something disproportionate between what you actually did and your stated reasons for doing it. However, I do believe there was a reason you invited Richard to the dinner last night, and that reason was his friendship with me. You wanted to see me. Why?
You remember when you arrived this afternoon, I said that times recently had been dull, but for interesting reasons?
Vividly.
Well, the truth is that for many weeks I've not used the time machine at all because I had the oddest feeling that someone or something was trying to make me. I had to fight it very hard indeed because it was trying to make me do something I actually wanted to do.
Is that what you were afraid of last night, upstairs?
Oh, it was only that rather nice horse, so that was all right. I expect it just wandered in when I was out getting some powder to cover up my suntan.
Oh, and where did you get that from? I can't think of many chemists that a horse would be likely to visit.
Oh, there's a planet off what's known here as the Pleiades where the dust is exactly the right...
You went to another planet to get face powder?
The actual distance between 2 points in the whole of the space-time continuum is infinitely smaller than the distance between adjacent orbits of an electron. It's a lot less far than the chemist, and there's no waiting about at the till. I never have the right change, do you? I think you may be right in what you're thinking, though. It was a fairly major operation in time engineering, just to cheer up a little girl. Maybe the, ghost. We are talking of a ghost here, aren't we?
I think we are, yes.
Another ghost?
Beg your pardon?
Later, Richard. Please continue, Professor.
Well, it's possible that the ghost caught me off my guard. I was fighting so strenuously against doing one thing that it easily tripped me into another.
And now?
The ghost left me last night.
And where, we wonder, did it go? Richard, what was it that got into you to make you climb the wall?
You thought that I was under post-hypnotic suggestion from someone.
Post-hypnotic suggestion? Or possession?
Possession?
Oh?
Hypnosis and possession work in similar ways. You can be made to do all kinds of absurd things and will then cheerfully rationalise them to yourself. But you cannot be made to do something that runs against the grain of your character. You will fight. You will resist.
Yes! I did put the tape back. It all seemed suddenly very stupid.
Exactly. You wouldn't do it. So, what do we have? We have a ghost that wants something done, looking for the right person to take possession of to do it for him. Now, Professor...
Reg,
may I ask you something personal? I'll understand if you don't want to answer, but I'll just keep pestering you until you do. Just my method, you see. You said there was something that you found to be a terrible temptation to you, that you would not allow yourself and that the ghost was trying to make you do. It would be very helpful if you could tell us what it is.
I will not tell you.
You must understand how important...
I'll show you.
Right, Wolfgang, it's mano a womano, just the two of us. Hello?
Susan, it's me, Gordon. I'm a ghost.
Hello? I think I'll leave it off the hook. No, put the answer machine on, Susan. Richard might need me.
Hi, this is Susan Wade. I'm out scraping a living or spending it, so talk after
It's 2 p.m. on a perfect spring day.
Spring? In October?
Depends which hemisphere, young Macduff.
And I just open this door.
If you would, my dear Dirk.
I have seen some things in my time. This, however, takes the entire packet of rich tea.
That's some trick.
Oh, it's real, I promise you. Come out and see for yourself.
This is a perfectly ordinary Cambridge professor's door frame with a perfectly ordinary Cambridge professor's door wide open in it, standing free in the open forest, with Reg's rooms visible through it.
Come on, this isn't what I wanted to show you. You need to come out here for that.
The one night of the week I leave my machete in the laundry basket.
Here you come. How about that for a view?
Wow. The Pacific?
The Indian Ocean.
It's rumoured to be just as wet.
Is this Madagascar?
Mauritius.
What on earth's that? Good God!
So what's the great attraction here? Very nice in its way, of course, all this nature, but I'm a city boy myself.
Shh! Look at you with your funny face. Do you need something to eat?
Look. Where?
Exactly the thing. Hold on, don't...
Just in front of the doorway. Richard's found one.
I can see Richard, and I can see a large, cross-looking bird defying him to find its beak even remotely funny.
Come on, look. I've got a cracker from Reggie's kitchen.
It's not a parrot.
It's not a parrot. Yes, I see that now.
It eats the nuts of the Calvaria tree. There are 1 or 2 on the ground behind you.
Look, Dirk! A dodo!
A dodo. A dodo? You come here for the dodos in your time machine.
I only come to look. Really, it's not for me to interfere.
This is a dodo.
He's funny. This is a very funny bird.
Yes, one of only 3 left at this time. The year is 1676. They will all be dead within 4 years, and after that, no one will ever see them again. Oh, come, let us go.
Excuse me, sir, can I help you?
Yes?
Yeah, I know you. Mr. Wenton Weeks, isn't it? I fished you out the fountain during a rag week. Did you find out who put you in there?
No. Is Professor Chronotis in his rooms?
Well, bugger if I know, Mr. Wenton Weeks. His phone seems to be in a blink again. Sure, must be near 20 years since you were here.
No, I've been visiting a lot lately. Weeks, months, microsecond blinks in the diurnal cycle.
Beg your pardon?
You've not known oblivion. Not for centuries at a stretch. It seems only minutes ago that these walls were built. It seems an eternity I spent wandering across interminable mud, wading through ceaseless seas. Imagine my horror when slimy things with legs began to crawl from those seas. And now you walk around as if you own the place and complain about the phones.
Oh. Need help with your suitcase?
No.
Be like that.
Oh, what's the point? Can't sleep, can't eat, can't have fun. There's only so much entertainment one can invent. Being dead. A young woman covered in blood running out of a huge house in Eaton Square. Reality entertainment. And in such a posh neighbourhood, I can sit on the bonnet of this Bentley, enjoy the spectacle, and feel comfortably superior.
Did you call for 999, miss?
It's the lady, officer, this way!
Right, Morris Coburn, follow me. Humphrey, you stay here. Be ready to call for backup.
Call Inspector Poirot! Call Miss Marple! Call anyone but that plonker Dirk Gentley! One of the few pleasures of being a ghost is not having to deal with people like that anymore.
Excuse me, can you help me?
Another is a certain knowledge that being invisible one will not be bothered by strangers looking for directions.
Gordon, will you stop chuntering on to yourself and pay attention?
What?
Gordon, it's me.
Lady Magna? That's you in there?
My son did it.
Excuse me?
Rather messily. He's about as useful with a meat cleaver as he is at editing a magazine.
Michael?
You know, now that I've told somebody, I feel a burden has been lifted. Yes.
Hey, no, wait a minute. No, don't go. Hey!
Goodbye, Gordon.
Take me with you! You cow! Oh my God. Michael's stalking Susan all the time. Susan.
Murky out there. Somebody is crossing the quad carrying a heavy-looking suitcase.
Dirk, in the last 12 hours, I have encountered 2 more ghosts than I actually believe in.
Richard, even the sceptical mind must accept that if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, we have at least to consider the possibility that we have a small aquatic bird of the family Anatidae on our hands.
Then I would like to know what you consider this duck to be. Ghost.
I think that a ghost, or duck if you will, is someone who died either violently or unexpectedly with unfinished business on his, her, or its hands, who cannot rest until it has been finished or put right, which is why a time machine would have such a fascination for a ghost once it knew of its existence. A time machine provides the means to put right what the ghost believes went wrong in the past, to free it, which is why it will be back. It tried first to take possession of you, but you resisted, and then you, Richard, appear on the scene. The ghost deserts Reg and concentrates instead on you. As soon as you do something that you then wish you hadn't done, the phone call to Susan's answering machine, the ghost seizes its chance and tries to induce you to undo it, just to see if it was in your character. If it had been, you would now be totally under its control. But at the very last second, your nature rebelled. And so the ghost gives you up as a bad job and deserts you in turn. It must find someone else. Does this now make sense to you?
Yes, I think you must be absolutely right.
At what moment do you think the ghost left you?
When Michael Wenton Weeks walked into Susan's living room.
I wonder what possibilities the ghost saw in him. I wonder whether this time it found what it wanted. I believe we shall not have long to wait. Professor Chronotis, do you have any brandy, French cigarettes, or worry beads in your room?
No.
Then I shall have to fret unaided.
I'll go. Michael.
Hello, Richard. Do you mind if I put this suitcase somewhere? It's rather heavy, full of scuba diving equipment.
In episode 5 of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency by Douglas Adams, Harry Enfield played Dirk Gently, and Billy Boyd was Richard Macduff. Olivia Colman was Janice Pierce, Felicity Montague, Susan Way, and Michael Fenton Stevens played Michael Wenton Weeks. Toby Longworth was the Electric Monk, Robert Duncan played Gordon Way, Jim Carter was Jilks, and Andrew Sachs played Professor Chronotis. Andy Seacombe was the porter, and John Glover was the other porter. Tamsin Heatley played Lady Magna. The announcer was John Marsh. The music was by Philip Pope. The programme was dramatised by Dirk Maggs and John Langdon. Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency was produced by Joe Wheeler and the director, Dirk Maggs, and was an above-the-title production for BBC Radio 4.
That was episode 5 of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency as broadcasted on BBC 4 on October 31, 2007. And now the final episode is broadcasted on November 7, 2007. The simple solution is not always the most obvious, helpful or correct.
All right, I get the message. You're a ghost. Calm down.
I need help, Miss Pierce.
No, that's my favourite mug.
Gotcha.
Right, it's hanging in midair. You want something?
Hurry up. This is very tiring.
Tap the mug on the desk once for yes, twice for no.
Okay.
If you're looking for Mr. Gentley, he's not here. He's visiting some old professor in Cambridge with Richard Macduff. You're not Mr. Gentley, are you? Has Mr. Macduff killed you?
Don't be daft.
Right. Are you a cat?
What a stupid question.
All right. Some of our clients' missing cats do fall under buses. I had to ask, in case you were an ex-moggy trying to be helpful.
Dirk Gentley's Holistic Detective Agency by Douglas Adams.
Professor Chronotis, I need your time machine.
My dear Mr. Wenton Weeks, you look dreadful.
Spirit inhabiting Michael Wenton Weeks. Why have you taken over the body of this man?
I must go back and undo a terrible mistake. Help me.
Do me the courtesy of treating me as a professional holistic investigator. Why have you taken over the body of this man?
He was willing. Both of these other two gentlemen resisted, but this one...
Michael would have been open to the idea of actually being wanted for something. The one thing that was important to him had been taken away. His magazine. By his mother, too.
Michael Wenton Weeks!
Yeah?
You can hear me and you can answer for yourself?
Oh, well, yes, most certainly I can.
This spirit. You know he's inside you. Are you a willing party to what he wishes to do?
Willing to help. I was moved by his account of himself and...
All right, thank you, Michael. Off you go now.
Rightio.
Now, Spirit, how long have you been looking for a subject?
Ever since your ancestors crawled out of the mud. 1,000 slimy things lived on, and so did I.
Coleridge?
Yes. Samuel was a useful subject. I told him my story. I was able to enter his mind when he was in an impressionable state.
Oh, you mean when Coleridge was on laudanum?
Yes, he was more relaxed then.
He could be quite astoundingly relaxed.
So you are saying you told your story to Samuel Taylor Coleridge?
Yes, I was afraid I would forget.
Yes, that comes with age.
Unfortunately, what he wrote was somewhat garbled. Will you help me?
Okay. Now, the only ghost I can think of we've dealt with lately is Gordon Way. Is that you?
Finally!
You are Gordon Way.
Get on with it!
Right. Ooh. Actually, now we're chatting, did Richard Macduff really murder you?
Of course not. Richard wouldn't harm a fly.
Whew, right. You want to talk to somebody?
Good.
Who?
The tricky bit.
Oh, the phone book. Nice trick. Your sister. Okay. I'll dial the number. And then what? What do I say? I don't say anything. But how then? Stuff me. Why didn't you say? Right, I'll dial the number and, I'll leave you to it. I'll lay the handset on the desk. And I'll go and find a double vodka.
Hi, this is Susan Way. I'm out scraping and living or spending it.
Concentrate, Gordon. Susan, it's Gordon. You are in danger. Michael Wenton Weeks has murdered his mother. Be happy, sis. It's done. Peace now.
Oh, wretched phone. Now what?
Spirit spirit inhabiting Michael Wenton Weeks. Where are you from?
We were on a ship. A spaceship. Yes, out from Selaxala, a world in... well, very far from here. A violent and troubled place. We set out to find a new world for ourselves. A new and better world on which we could all live in freedom, peace and harmony forever.
Oh, that. Nothing too ridiculously idealistic, then. You'd thought all this out carefully, of course.
We'd had it thought out for us. We had with us some very specialised devices for helping us to continue to believe in the purpose of the trip when things got difficult, which they did.
The road to hell is paved with helpful machinery.
We stopped on this world to replenish necessary mineral supplies. Our landing craft entered the atmosphere too steeply. It was damaged, but repairable. As the engineer, it fell to me to supervise the task. Unfortunately, I left it to one of these devices to make the final checks. Instead of doing the job myself, I sent out one of the electric monks.
Damping brake is set to manual.
An electric monk? An android wearing a cowl and robe kind of thing?
Yes. Ironic how human they look.
Cenobyte 42 decimal. Are the landing craft systems back online?
I believe so, Chief Engineer.
We came to rely on them too much. When I wanted to know whether or not it was safe to take off, it detected that I didn't want to know that it might not be.
Fuel line safety switches on?
Is that what you would like?
Would I be asking if I didn't?
It knew I wanted to be reassured that it was.
Most satisfactory. Come aboard and strap in.
On the say-so of an electric monk, you attempted to launch the ship.
Overload.
We were all killed. Since when I remained alone on this planet, for the first billion years, I felt myself to be haunted by the ghosts of the others. But it was only my imagination. Then life arose. Vegetation, things in the sea. Then, at last, you. And this set of rooms, Professor. Your time machine.
Why did you settle on possessing Michael Wenton Weeks? Surely the Professor was the better choice.
Of course he was. He could travel through time. But he fought me. So I had an idea. I would use the Professor to bring an electric monk to the Earth. They were designed to believe anything, could be suborned to undertake any task. Yes. The Professor's conjuring trick last night created the chance to locate a monk and help it find its way through that door.
And for it to store its horse in my bathroom.
And to get told to shoot off by the college porters.
And to go and murder Gordon Way.
Did it? I am not surprised. This monk was completely hopeless. Getting it to believe things was easy. Getting it to believe them for more than brief periods was impossible. So then I possessed Richard Macduff, but he resisted. Then the perfect carrier came along. One who has proved he will not hesitate in doing what will have to be done. But I still need your help to travel back in time.
What happened to your main ship? Presumably it left to continue its search.
We all came down in the landing craft. We all were killed when it exploded. The skies above Earth are so cluttered with debris that one more item, even such a large one, has passed unnoticed.
It's still up there.
The computer has maintained its orbit.
I want to see this ship.
Well, the door hasn't opened onto the vacuum of space. I think we can safely assume these are the correct coordinates.
Yes, this is the main ship's hold.
Wow. That sunny dome, those caves of ice.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, the size of it, yes.
No, by the cleaning lady. There's a lot less dust than you'd find after 4 billion years in my flat.
There is nobody alive on board, but the air filtration is very efficient.
She said the computer maintains this vessel.
Yes, it constantly monitors the ebb and flow of life on any planet it orbits. It monitors and transmits on frequencies beyond your reach.
And so you've been unable to communicate with it from Earth?
For long, long periods I am very weak. Then the waves get strong again.
Perhaps ghosts exist like wave patterns. There would be irregular peaks and troughs, like a musical waveform.
Richard Macduff.
Oh?
You wrote an article in Michael's magazine, Music and Fractal Landscapes. It moved me very greatly.
Oh? Michael said he didn't like it.
He was unaware of the nature of many things. The ship's computer room will interest you. Follow me.
Dirk, this is all fascinating, but is it a trap?
I don't know, Professor.
So far, his story makes sense.
Perhaps to a 3,000-year-old professor of chronology, maybe to a baboon on mescaline. But this humble holistic detective's olfactory organ is troubled by the unmistakable whiff of large furry rodent.
A beaver?
We are at the elevator. It is rather small. Come, Richard.
Sure. Hey, wait a minute.
Where has he taken Richard?
Sod Richard, where's he left us?
Caution. Cargo hold depressurizing. You have 30 seconds to suit up.
Were we expected to dress for dinner?
A pressure suit. They must have some here for emergencies. This looked a likely storage bin. Professor, what has 19 legs, 17 arms and 3 noses?
Is that relevant to our plight?
It's relevant if you want to get into this suit.
You have 15 seconds to suit up.
Are you coming?
Oh, hello. Just trying these on.
You could be useful for gardening.
The hold depressurizes regularly. It saves oxygen.
We noticed.
Obliging of it to let us know we were doomed in English.
Universal translator. Standard equipment on Salaxalan ships. Part of the reason we came here. It improved communication with our neighbours so thoroughly that no matter how carefully our diplomats phrased things, their real feelings were translated without ambiguity.
You ended up with war after war.
Yes, that is why we left.
Where's Richard?
In the monitoring room, listening to the computer. It is processing data from the Earth. Not the lapping of a wave nor the beating of a heart escapes its attention.
How does this computer express all this data? What does it sound like?
Dirk! Reg! Can you hear it?
I can't hear anything else.
It's breathtaking! I've never heard anything so perfect!
It's just some classical tunes playing, surely?
No! Don't you understand? It's the song of life! The shout of joy that is every living thing! From the aye-ayes of Madagascar to the rhinoceroses of Kilimanjaro! From the very first green shoots of a weed growing on a Glasgow rubbish tip to the countless trees of the Amazonian rainforest! This computer has calculated the whole growingness and decayingness and the new growth. It's doing it right now and expressing it all in an immense musical fractal. Oh, it's the most beautiful I've ever... Hello?
Richard!
Ah, hello. Susan.
Richard, where are you?
Hold on. I'll just go and look.
Breathing better?
I think so. Open the oxygen tank a little more, thank you.
Where exactly are we?
Well, if Reggie's machine is working, Bermuda.
Looks like the Black Plains of Hell.
Oh, this is Bermuda before the tourists. 4 billion years before.
Wow. What's it like...
Get away from the doorway! The atmosphere's poisonous. I'm not sure what with, but it would bring these carpets up a treat.
Hence Michael's scuba gear.
I don't think this is enough Vaseline.
Oh, Michael, they haven't made enough Vaseline.
Should we leave you two alone for a bit?
I brought the spirit back to undo its mistake.
You see that thing across the plain? Looks like a tower.
Looks like a rotting tooth.
That's the Salaxalan landing craft. It's about 4 hours before the accident happened. Should give the spirit just enough time to take Michael there, fix the problem, and send him back.
I shall be released from the torment I have endured. The repairs can be made. The landing craft can return to the mothership. We can be on our way. My torment will be extinguished, and I will cease to be a burden to you.
I shall hold you to that.
But that can't work, can it? If we do that, then this won't have happened. We'll generate all sorts of paradoxes.
Oh, and no worse than those that already exist.
If that's the case, why were you so fierce about doing nothing to save the dodo?
Because the dodo wouldn't have died if I hadn't worked so hard to save the coelacanth.
The coelacanth? The prehistoric fish?
Indeed.
But how could one possibly affect the other?
Well, cause and effect still apply. The continuum is like a piece of badly hung wallpaper. Push down a bubble, another pops up somewhere else. There are no more dodos because of my interference. In the end, I imposed the rule on myself because I couldn't bear it anymore.
Oh, I'll still get Susan on the line.
Yeah, I thought I heard a phone.
Well, can't think how it's suddenly working. Right, Michael, you're ready. Steady when you turn in the doorway. Don't want to knock the tank loose.
Professor, Mr. Gentley.
Well, so long, and thanks for all the...
Thank you.
I suppose we'll have to wait here for you to send back the empty. I don't like it. Any of it.
My dear Dirk, this poor tormented soul's story is a very pathetic one, and it can do no harm to end his misery. You should be more charitable.
Charitable? Ha! I help old ladies find their cats. What more do you want?
I'm going now. Goodbye. Slimy things.
Now, what on earth did that mean?
Goodbye, slimy things. Probably a joke.
Stop it!
Stop who?
Michael! Oh, damn it! I'm going after him.
No, you can't go out there unprotected. What's happened?
Before he boarded the train to Cambridge, Michael went in weeks, butchered his mother.
Lady Magna?
Dismembered in her own drawing room.
Oh.
Susan just told me.
How could she know that?
Gordon left a message on her answering machine.
From beyond the grave?
And his sister just telephoned from 4 billion years in the future to tell us. I don't know how these things are happening, Professor. You'll just have to take it up with British Telecom. Damn, how could I have missed this?
You can't think of everything.
An holistic detective must. So that's why Michael was the perfect subject to possess. That's what I should have been looking for. The thing the ghost made him do in order to establish his hold, the thing he had to be fundamentally willing to do, the thing that would match the ghost's own purpose.
To be prepared to kill.
And having killed once, the line was crossed.
Well, who can he kill now? He's going over there to save his crewmates.
Goodbye, slimy things. He thinks this is their world, not ours. This was where they were going to settle and build their stupid paradise. He thinks we've supplanted them, and that's what he wants to reverse. You see what we've done? I wouldn't be surprised if the accident your poor tormented soul out there is trying to reverse is the very thing which started life on this planet.
So if they survive...
Humanity doesn't.
How long would you say it'll take that fat, self-deluding slackwit to waddle across the mudflats to his ship?
2 hours? Less?
Because that's how long we have. Right. Clear the sofa. We need to sit and decide what we're going to do. If we fail, the three of us and everything we have ever known, including the coelacanth and the dodo, dear Professor, will cease ever to have existed.
Oh, almost sat in your jacket, Professor.
Oh, is it? Oh, my memory's so bad these days.
No, that's Michael's.
Oh, I always left a book. Kubla Khan by Coleridge.
Ooh, that's a long poem. How the provost manages to memorize it for the dinner,
That's it!
What?
That's exactly it!
And how may I assist you, my handsome? Your race suggests business of grave national importance. Have the French invaded? Are the King and Queen even now being guillotined in London town?
I beg your pardon. Is your husband in?
My husband? My husband's off Santa Cruz with Admiral Nelson, sir.
Ah, you're not Mrs. Coleridge.
I am not, sir. Mrs. Coleridge left this house nigh on 2 years ago, and mighty glad Mr. Coleridge was to see the back of her, frowning, vinegary little shrew that she was.
Well, in that case, good lady, would you inform Mr. Coleridge that I require an urgent word?
Mr. Coleridge! You awake?
I am awake and extremely busy, Mrs. Weir.
Tell him it's top secret, concerning the security of the realm.
He says it's top secret, concerning the security of the realm!
What is it? Quickly, man.
I shall be in the scullery skinning dead things if you need me.
Mr. Coleridge, my name is not important, but my business is. I come from Porlock with an urgent request.
Does it concern Chinese history? Endless voyages? The quest for paradise? Is something to divert a poet seized with vision of such beguiling power that he cannot eat, sleep, or draw breath until he has preserved it for posterity with quill and parchment? Oh, I could murder some chocolate.
I'm afraid hardly at all, sir, but...
Then, sir, I have no time to speak, for the visions will fade as they grow stale.
But I'm here from the Porlock Parish magazine, and I've been asked by my editor if you might vouchsafe me an interview. He's particularly concerned to hear your views on the crude foreign mountebanks who seek to rival England's men of letters in the popular arts.
Oh, I have heard nothing of this. Quickly, then, who are these upstarts?
Have you heard of the jelly babies? They're miniature and sugary and entirely lacking in talent. Oh, but enough of me. Let's talk about your work.
How long has he been going?
Oh, nearly an hour. This is appalling desecration. He's destroying the inspiration for one of the great pieces of English literature.
No, Dirk's right, I'm afraid. It must be done. It was the only sure way. The instructions were clearly contained in the poem once you knew what to look for. It has to be suppressed. The ghost will always be around. In fact, 2 of him now. That is, assuming this works. Poor devil. Still, I suppose he brought it on himself.
Oh, Reg, that music up in the ship's computer room.
Yes?
I'm not religious, but if I were, I would say it was like a glimpse into the mind of God.
Oh, yeah, I hope we arrived early enough.
Oh, I think we must have done. Look how agitated Coleridge was. He just looks downcast now.
Oh, would you excuse me a moment?
What? Oh, sure. I think Dirk's nearly finished.
Welcome your comments if you have any points of style, hints, tips, things of that nature. A joke, perhaps, about albatrosses.
And?
Let's put a stop to that. I think he'd made a start on writing it down, but he won't remember another word, that's for certain. Now, having saved the entire human race from extinction, I could do with a pizza. Where's the professor? There you are. I'd no idea I'd been that long.
Reg, you didn't have a beard before you went behind that tree.
Oh, yes, just carelessness.
What have you been up to?
Oh, just a few adjustments. Very well. Up there. No, not my haircut. Look, up there.
Uh-huh. The evening star.
So? Oh, what was that flash?
Sorry, Richard.
Oh, Reg. The music.
Come, back to the incongruous door in the cowshed. There's something I must do that I failed abysmally at as an undergraduate.
Which is?
To check my work. Professor, the abacus.
Oh, but of course.
Richard, the door.
Got it?
Look, take away the number you first thought of. It's, it's interesting how this thing almost knows what I'm going to do next. And...
Door.
And we're back at St. Set's.
Reg, would you have a copy of the collected poetry of Samuel Coleridge?
I have anticipated you. Here, the poems of Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Oxford University Press, 1912.
Aha, here we are. Kubla Khan.
Oh, that's all? 3 pages?
Hundreds of stanzas consigned to oblivion.
He put an albatross in the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
That works rather well.
Yes, rather better than an asteroid, though I say so myself.
Oh, blimey, crikey. Oh, this sofa must cost loads of money. You would think people who order a large piece of furniture would take into account the means of access to their flat. Are we stuck? You won't go? Oh, you didn't want to do that.
I see that.
Yeah, we're going to have to ask for help. Right here.
Excuse me, sir. Mind if we pack this sofa into your room so we can get it past the turn there and into that flat?
Actually, these aren't my rooms, but that is my flat. And you can turn it in this doorway with the greatest of pleasure.
Oh, thank you very much. Right, see you.
Richard, that's a rather fetching sofa. Perhaps you could jot down the make and model for me.
Of course. And thank you so much for the use of your doorway.
Do let's meet up again soon, Richard.
You want to let us into your flat?
I'll need a holiday first.
Try Bermuda. Present day. Take Susan.
Yeah, good idea.
Oh, that you, Richard?
Yes?
An invitation's come from some professor at your old college, inviting you to a Coleridge dinner tonight.
Good God.
What's wrong?
Where did you get that music?
Well, from the music shop.
What is it?
It's a cantata I'm playing in a couple of weeks. Bach, number 6.
Who wrote it?
Johann Sebastian, remember?
No, never heard of him. Who is he? Did he write anything else?
Yes, there's a pile of his stuff over there, where it's always been, by the piano.
G.S. Bach. Cello suites. Brandenburg concertos, Mass in B minor. I've never seen any of this before.
Richard, my darling, perhaps if you didn't spend all your time playing with computer music, you might...
Oh, Reg.
Hello?
Reg, it's Richard.
Oh.
Your phone's working.
My dear fellow, a very capable young man arrived and fixed the phone.
And the music? Bach? Brilliant idea.
I saved only the tiniest scrap, of course. It was rather more than one man could actually do in a lifetime.
Reg, can't we go and get some more of it?
Oh, my dear boy, the ship has gone. And besides...
We could go back in time.
No, I told you, the phone's working.
So?
So, the time machine isn't. It burnt out, dead as a dodo.
In the city, the takeover battle for Fathom magazine has taken a new twist. With the latest developments, here's the BBC economics editor, David Evans.
Just minutes ago, Lady Magna reversed the deal which would have given Gordon Way ownership of her publishing empire, handing it instead lock, stock and smoking jacket to her son, Michael.
Dirk Gentley's Holistic Detective Agency. We solve the whole crime. We find the... Yes? What don't you understand? I'm sure it's not nonsense. I'll put you through. Please hold. Mr. Gentley! Mrs. Sorskind on line 1.
Yes, Miss Pierce. Dirk Gentley... Ah, my dear Mrs. Sorskind, I can hardly tell you how much I've been looking forward to having this exact same conversation with you yet again. Where shall we begin? Which particular item would you like clarified? I beg your pardon? Please say that again. Ah, you don't know who I am, or why I should think your cat is missing. Did he? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, indeed. How could you possibly replace him? No, of course you don't wish to replace such a wonderful bundle of fluff. Ah, well, Mrs. Sorskind, what you probably fail to appreciate is that, as a direct result of my efforts, if I might explain about the interconnectedness of all... It's pointless, isn't it? Goodbye. Miss Pierce?
What?
Kindly send out a revised bill, would you, to dear Mrs. Sorskind? The new bill reads as follows. Do. Saving human race from extinction. No charge. Plus VAT.
In episode 6 of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency by Douglas Adams, Harry Enfield played Dirk Gently and Billy Boyd was Richard Macduff. Olivia Colman was Janice Pierce, Felicity Montague, Susan Way, and Michael Fenton Stevens played Michael Wenton Weeks. Toby Longworth was the Electric Monk, Robert Duncan played Gordon Way, and Andrew Sachs played Professor Chronotis. Wayne Forrester was Coleridge, Tamsin Heatley was Mrs. Weir, and Neil Sleet was the newsreader. The announcer was John Marsh. The music was by Philip Pope. The programme was dramatised by Dirk Maggs and John Langdon. Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency was produced by Joe Wheeler and the director, Dirk Maggs, and was an above-the-title production for BBC Radio 4.
That was the final episode of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency as broadcasted on November 7, 2007. Well, that's end of this hour in Aircheck's tribute to Douglas Adams. Next hour, we will be playing something that is not related to Douglas Adams in any shape or form. It will be a surprise. Stay tuned.